Now pay attention, everybody. When I do the intro for the show, it's not just a bunch of words that I've made up. It actually means something. And for what happened today, we're getting closer to that reality. Now with that, let's start up. One more time. Let me try this again.
And here, with his bird's eye view and a brain to match, is Mr. Know-It-All.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy frickin' Monday. It's that day of the week, down to the hour, minute, and second, that we come together as a community. Well, you know what, to talk about those things that the government won't talk about. To talk about those things, you know it, from science fiction. More importantly, to talk about those things, well, you know where that comes from the X-Files. What things are we talking about? We're talking about the things that you can go out and see over your house in the evenings, but sometimes you just need to go outside and look up. What are we talking about? We're talking about good old-fashioned UFOs here on Disclosure Tonight, also known as UFO, unidentified flying objects, and we still call them that in Disclosure Tonight for a good reason, because there's a word for it in every single language around the world throughout perpetuity. So as the government has been covering up their war against the extraterrestrial presidents for over 90 years. It's been nothing but a military action. How do we know? Just look, it's all military. It's all military sensors. It's all military action. No matter what they do to try and rip apart the truth or rip apart the DNA of the extraterrestrial presence to try and figure out who we are, where they came from, or to take their technology and use it for their weapons of mass destruction. That's why we come together on Disclosure Tonight many nights a week, like tonight, to go ahead and cover the latest news, the latest declassifications, the latest whistleblowers, to try and sort through all the bullshit in the media, to go ahead and bring you the latest information, the latest points of where we're at, so we can discount the idiots in the White House and those bozos behind the cover-up in the DOD, and come together with myself, Thomas Fessler, the chat in the back, and you, our viewers, for another episode of Disclosure Tonight. Good evening, everybody. How you doing today? Yes, it actually happened. UFO whistleblower David Gruscch drops a bombshell, puts RO into shambles. Susan Goff, hello, Susan, is quivering. We're going to have to figure out where all this is sooner than later, but you know what? Let's go ahead and see who the heck we have out there, shall we? I don't have the first person who was in the chat. Apparently, that was Tamisha. Hi, Tamisha, but let's see who we have out there. Holy cow. It's a full audience in the chat, and it's a full audience in the back. And let's get to this, shall we? Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy, saying, yo, Syrup. Good to see you. He is in the chat, and he's in the back. No, not Andy. Andy just went back to work, but Syrup is back there. Holy cow. DC is around. Let's see who else we have out there. Gray Troll is around. Time to get optimistic again. Yeah, don't get dragged down by poor old, hold on a second here, Richie. He was going off today. He lost it again. Rich, come on, pull him back to the center, my friend, where you absolutely belong. Who else do we have in the audience? Rachel Smith is here. Why is it the whistleblowers and witnesses are questioned and doubted for days? But if a mofo testifies in court, their word is bond. I know, Rachel. It's kind of the things people who are going out there to be whistleblowers, and there are people who like to blow whistles. You know what I'm talking about. Who else do we have out there? Great Troll. Good to see you, my friend. Syrup, yes, Rachel, when people like Kirkpatrick say we have seen no evidence of NHI, it's held as true by the debunkers and by those friends that they have over at NASA. Hello, NASA panel. Don't you feel very important today? Swan P.S. David Gruscch, take that elf. You better believe it. Sapphire Elf was wrong. Well, I know it's a good thing we've got people coming forward here and some passions around. That's even a better thing. Would you look at that? DC is around. Holy cow. And Feigenchow 87. Happy Whistleblower Day, everybody. Or to some of the people, happy Whistleblowing Day. You know what I'm talking about. PC is here. Good to see you, my friend. Thor Panku is around. Michael Sukloff is in the chat, and he's in the back. We'll be bringing him out here shortly. Sully's here. Good evening, everybody. What a day. I know. It started early. 5:30 in the morning, early with Swan calling, "Hey, Tom, it finally dropped." I know. It was wonderful. Brian Morgan is here. Good to see you, Brian. Who else we have out there? Electra RC, also known as Zach, all the way from the land down under. Welcome, Electra RC. Love seeing you out there on a regular daily basis. Who else is out there? Rachel Smith, of course. Let's scroll around and see who's out there. Man, there's a lot of chat going out there. I barely started. Brian Morgan is here. Zach McCracken is my friend. Holy cow, Chuck, get Cupcake, Luke. Brian Morgan, she's struggling. She's going to be flopping around in a second. Electra RC, yes. Cupcake is getting up right now. Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy. Good having you around before the show started. Holy cow, my friend. Welcome. Yes, it's unlike Cupcake not to wake up at the start of Disclosure tonight. Holy cow. Let's see who else we have out there. Let's take a look and see. You going to bring her here to me, Luke, or what? Her bed's right down here, but she's going to want to go out front in a second. Bring her here. Oh, here comes the princess. Hello, girl. Dirty pillow. Good to see ya. Cupcake. She hears the show start, and she's like, "That is my cue to wake up, Daddy." You better believe it, little girl. Who else we have out there? Let's take a look and see who's out there. Mick is here. Good to see you. Hey, saw you over at Richie's show. This is more of the grounded show where we're going to be giving you some good information. We're not going to throw David or any of the other whistleblowers. Leave that to the people who like to blow whistles. Abe Trough, good to see you. Brian Morgan, welcome, my friend. Raven Creek Charms, good to see you. You know, how do you train the ravens to bring the charms? I give them plenty of peanuts, but I don't get the charms back out of them. And they do come when I whistle. No, I'm not blowing whistles. I'm just whistling for the frickin' squirrels and crows. Holy cow, Marcus Mandel. Good to see everybody. Good to see you, Marcus, as well. Brian Morgan's here. Good to see you, Brian. Happy frickin' Monday to you. Is it Monday already? Yes. I did not want Monday to come, nor did anybody else. Marcus Mandel, you know how that goes. But where is Brock? Marcus is here. Holy cow. Who else we have out there? Brian Morgan, you better know it. Let's take a look and see. Owen from Ohio. Welcome, Owen. Hello, everyone. I hope this big news day finds you all happy and healthy. Oh, Cupcake is coughing a little bit as she tries to wake up, and I'm trying to keep her centered on the camera as we get going here. Who else do we have out there? Holy cow. Let's take a look. Thor Panku, welcome me again. Jan, you are not even close to the middle, but thank you for coming today. You're more at the start. Oh, Cupcake wants to get up. Jan, Marcus it is. Would you like to take her out front, Luke? No, you don't want to take her out front? She really wants to go pee-pee out front. Oh, thank you very much, Luke. Here she goes. You know where to put her in her special spot. It's so much easier when I have a helper here. Holy cow, I'm not having to say, hold on, let's put this on and go take care of Cupcake. All right, let's see who else we have out there. Marcus Mandel. Syrup is around. We know that one. Scroll around. Brian Morgan is here. I think I'm welcome to you. A lot of great people just chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting. Sorry, I've missed all the chat before the show started up. Oh, God, it felt so good with that door open. Steve Sanders is here. Welcome, Steve. It is cranking in the studio right now, just a little too warm. And there's someone whose microphone is echoing in the back. It must be Syrup. Please mute yourself, Syrup. Thank you very much. W. Taylor is here. Good to see you, my friend. Happy Monday to you. Anonymous Rex, bombshell or nutshell. Depends on what you like to crack. As long as you're not blowing whistles, you'll be fine. Although I do not know. Who else do we have out there? Not enough bandwidth here to discuss all the intricacies of what's going on. Oh, yeah, Anonymous, don't worry. I've been knowing about this one for over a year, so gonna have some fun with it, my God, yes. Who else do we have out there in the audience? Zach McCracken is here. Welcome, Zach. Good to see you. Kelly Brout is here with her piercing blue eyes. Yes, do us a favor. Never, ever cross this woman. Elf, if you ever cross this woman, You would not take another step. She would slice you in two remotely. David Dominic is here. Welcome, David. Renee is around. Good to see you, Renee. Leslie Keene said Washington Post wanted more time to vet the story, and she wanted to put it out ASAP. Well, like apparently the Washington Post needed weeks, if not months, to vet it there. My guess is there's other reasons, like they're behind the scenes schemes with the DOD. You never know why they want to bring the information. There's always a secret to why people don't want to bring out the truth. They just want to stay in the closet forever. Holy cow. Oh my God. Holy cow. We got some great things going on here. Firefly is here. We've had some super chats come in, but we just had some other ones come in. So I have to temporarily interrupt this introduction of the show and thank people for some crazy super chats that have been coming at the start of the show. Let's start that counter, Gary, and and guys, holy cow, Ant-Man has started off. Let's go ahead and get this going here. Let's go to frequent. Yes. We got some killer super chats coming in today. With the first one, started with Mr. Ant-Man. Yes, I'll get out the maracas. Let's have some fun. Holy cow. Yes, Swan P says we stand with Grush on Disclosure tonight. You better believe it. And we stand with Lou Elizondo, who also stands with Grush. Holy cow. Speed of Life, another super chat. Holy cow. I think it's a holiday. Let's hope others follow this lead. Royal Morning Blue, another one, saying London calling. Good London, this is Golden Eagle, Golden Shower Eagle calling. From Mill Creek, Washington. Are you there? Come in, sir. Also followed by You Have a Story in Majestic Q Clarence. Thank you very much, sir. Also followed by Intergalactic Angler. Matt Schratt is the only UFO retrieval guy I'll ever trust. I don't know Matt Schratt, but we'll figure it out later in the show. This next one kind of got me. Holy cow, David Dominic. Hello, Thomas and Cupcake. Great show, Thomas. This super chat is dedicated to Thomas Fessler, the panel, and the chat. Let's have a great show. Thank you, David Grusch, Ross Colehart. A big thank you as well to Lou Elizondo for your dedication to the disclosure effort. Holy cow. Followed by Mr. Daryl Zernick. Holy cow, the song hasn't finished yet. Full. How many people read the debrief article? Well, seeing a lot of ignorant tweets based on their commentary only on the short interview. I know, that's why we're going to be going through both here on tonight's show. And then finally, David Bogusowski saying, holy cow, nothing much, just super freaking pear melon. Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate Dana Bogusowski. Appreciate everybody's super chats. Holy cow, because every dollar that comes into Disclosure tonight, trust me, it goes back into our production of this show. We appreciate every dollar that comes in. Thank you very much, everybody. On that note, I need to go ahead and find where I left off on the intro and figure out where the heck we're at. Holy cow. I know I wasn't that far where I was at before. Let's get, oh gosh, there's so many people here. Where was I at? I'll go find the last person that I found. Thank you very much, everybody. Leave that music in the background. Let's see who else we have out there as we jump through this. Oh, Renee is around. Eli McGinnis, thank you very much. Been watching Ross Colehart since I was a kid in Australia. Well, there you go. He's a great guy. He really does try. Who else we have out there? Let's take a look. Jan, we know you're out in the middle, but we're near the beginning, almost halfway there. There we go. Owen from Ohio. Thank you for coming in here tonight, Owen. Happy frickin' Monday to you. Feel like it could be Wednesday. Thank you, Biden, for signing NDAA with whistleblower protection. I can't wait for NDAA 2024 that's going to bring in the shackled handcuffs for all the people who have been doing things wrong. Who else do we have out there? Let's take a look and see. Oh, DC is here. You better believe it. Shelly Montgomery, Shelly. Thank you for coming in today, Shelly. Holy cow, wouldn't be the same without you. Glad you could save me from Elf going off the other day. Holy cow, one of those days on Saturday after the show was like, did he say that? He did. I kicked his ass out. You got to be nice. Remember, respect the people in the chat, respect the people on the panel, and respect the host and any guests that might be there. And if not, it is Artie, get away from our food.
You get put in the banishment.
It is a highway to hell, I tell you. Short change, long range, also known as Patrick. Looking forward to tonight's disclosure. I think we all are. Michelle is here. Always enjoy the show. Thank you from Remember, Michelle, or anybody else. If you haven't subscribed yet, what the heck you waiting for? I can't hit the button for you, but I'll try and do it. And if you haven't given us a thumbs up yet, give us a thumbs up. And if not, give us a thumbs down, one or the other. If you go ahead and you go ahead and do that, it actually shows there's interaction with the live stream, which encourages YouTube to share it more. Just saying, I appreciate that. It's a small ask to take for the high price of admission to this show. Misty Rain is here. I want photos now. We all do, but we're going to have to deal with some stories because, first of all, it's about cracking open the organization, and then we can get to the details inside. Holy cow, would you look at that? Would you look at that? All the way from the great state of Florida. Peggy with Crockett and Tubbs is here. Happy Monday, Thomas and friends. Enjoy the show. Well, you should enjoy the show listening in, too. Hey, Google, what's the temperature in Florida? Oh, would you look at that? It's currently 80 degrees with a high of 86 and a low of 74. What a beautiful day in sunny Florida. How's that flesh-eating virus doing off your shore and the wonderful sargassum seaweed these days? Holy cow, not the best time to be in Florida. But anyway, Shelly is here. I mean, not Shelly. Paul Francis is here. Cupcake is back from her sabbatical on the front yard. Oh, good girl. There you go, Cupcake. Let's see who is there. Ant-Man is around. Better believe it. Holy cow. Let's see who else we have out there. Jenny Novak is here. Happy Monday, Jenny. Factory Polo. Things are getting hot. Something big is getting ready to happen. No, this is just the start of it, I tell you, Kevin Clark and Trip Rod. Hey, Fesslerites. It's a good thing. Who else do we have out there? Jose Sands, good to see you, Jose. Zach is around. Zach McCracken, as always. Speed of Life is here. Alex Fraga, Trip Rod, Jenny Novak. I need to go put Cupcake out the door. Hold on a second here. Huh? She wants to eat or something. I'll be right back, everybody. Hold on. Don't kill the dead air. I'll kill it for you. Watch out, Artie. Sorry about that. Little girl wanted to eat, so I have to run and take care of her. Artie, do not eat her food. Get over here. Come here, Artie. There you go. Who else do we have out there? Marcus Mandel, of course, is around. Who else do we have out there? Royal Morning Blue. I think we welcome you as well. Xavier is here. Welcome, Xavier. Good to see you, my friend. Fermi's Paradox 1. I heard this may be a psyop to deflect the whistleblower they were about to kill, implicating... No. Trip Rod. We're not going to go down that route. Holy cow. Who else do we have out there? Let's take a look and see. Oh, we're only halfway through. No way. My goodness. Amiga Rules is here. Better than the Atari 520 ST, I tell you. Factory Polo, my friend. The Mac Geek is around, along with the person who drives the Corvette C8. Amiga Rules. Ryan Smethurst is here. Are you a brother of David, maybe? Because that name seems really familiar to me. Not that many people have a last name like Smethurst, and possibly from the United Kingdom. You never know, Steve Sanders. We'll figure that one out. Nicholas is around. Shout out from Ohio. Hey, Thomas and the crew. Happy Whistleblower Day. Get out your whistles and blow them, everybody. Chris G is around. There you go. Joseph Syracuse, good to see you. It's been a while since we've seen you in the back, Joseph. Good to see you in the chat today, though. Welcome, my friend. Bill H, one step beyond, out of our Discord. Good to see you, Bill H. Holy cow. Great Troll is around. Look at this. The whole Digger Dog is all coming around. The whole audience is here. Man, I'm only 2/3 of the way through it. I got to pick up my speed. One planet, one species is here. Nicholas is around. Good to see you, Nicholas. Happy Monday to you, if I haven't said that enough times. Short Change, Long Range, also known as Patrick. I think I welcomed you, but that's a great name, Mr. Daniel Bogusowski. Big day today. It's not a birthday, but Greg O'Brien with a frown on his face saying nothing pisses me off first thing like in the sounds of birds. Not quite sure why. We love our birds around here. Who else do we have out there in the audience? Let's take a look and see. Peter's here. Starts when I know we started almost close to on time. We'll get through that one. Good to see you. No doubt. Absolutely. Niles guy is here. I want to hear from not the people who heard about the UFOs, who are actually working on them, reverse engineering them, actually touch them and have copies of data. Well, yeah, but sometimes you have to break through and start talking about the organization that's hiding them before you can get to the details of what's there, because it's hard to crack open a nut and get to the details inside. Sometimes you have to figure out how to crack that nut or how to go ahead and create that structural fracture in a dike that not even a finger or Avi Lube can solve. Mackie, good to see you as well. Larry Gurnt, flight attendants, you know the drill. Larry is in the chat and he's in the back and can't wait for him to come out soon. Robert Charles M. the Fourth, good to see you, my friend. Did I just say that? Todd Turner, Brent Perryman, woohoo. I think I did. Holy cow. Who else? Data derivations. It's just the start. Yeah, I know. Thomas and back. You know where that's at. Oh, no, and there's another one coming in. I need to get through this. Digger Dog, Daryl Zernick. Oh, let's see who else is out there. Todd Turner is here. Firefly is around. Ant-Man, yes, we know that. Mick from Australia. Let's soak up all this goodness, my friends, and let it percolate down into our muscles and make us all nice and buff, like Mick from Australia is. Holy cow, we actually heard today that Swan actually made it back into the gym. First time in a year or so. So, yeah, he's got some catching up to do. Actually, second time in a year. Crypto Breed, 1968. That's a good thing, Lex Diaz. You know where it's at. Absolutely. Tin Man 105. Welcome to the show, my friend. Wow. Carindrum, I am here. Well, welcome. You're new to the show. I haven't seen you before. Alex Frog, I think I welcomed you. Trip Rod, I know I've welcomed you again. Raz Mataz is here. It's a full porno tonight. Well, maybe not, but we're going to get into it. Intergalactic Angler. Hi, good to see you, my friend. Who else? Mr. TKO. You better believe it is here. Mammy is here. I think whistleblower is the word of the year, and we're just getting started after all. Well, it is June. We are in the 6th month of the year, which kind of says we're about halfway in. James Friday the 13th. Hi, all. Happy Monday. This is fine. Where is this is fine? Where did I do with this is fine? Oh, well, I lost this is fine. Oh, there it is. Had me crawling under the desk. He's got the orange logo. Yes, it's backwards, but this is fine. Yes, it's a dumpster fire, and we're all enjoying it. Holy cow. Let's get into this one. Who else do we have out there? Brent Perryman around. Lance Coles, good to see you. Intergalactic Angler. W. Decker is in the back, and he's in the chat. Can't wait to bring out Mr. Good Looking. We'll be back to pick you up later. One Planet, One Species are. Hi, all. Good to see you, my friend. Super Crazy Movie Geek. Oh, we're almost there. 3/4 of the way there. A little socialism. No. Alex Frog, we can't get to there. Paul Murphy, good to see you from the great state of Canada. Intergalactic Angler, of course. Super Crazy Movie Geek. Commodore 64 keyboard. No. Nope. This is a PS2 Model M. 1985, 1986. It's the kind of keyboard you can unplug, pound over a programmer's head, and plug back in, wipe off the blood, and it'll continue to work nicely, at least back in the day. Todd Turner says, I like Flight Bryce. Yes, Brian Morgan's also from Ohio. Anybody else that I missed? Yes, there's some other people I may have missed. It keeps on going. The chat's going crazy, Grandstein. God, Pete Liebel, Brian, oh my goodness. Huskers is around. Let's see who else we have out there. Thor Panku, I think I've welcomed you. Anybody else that I missed? If I missed you, I'm not sure. David H. Altman, isn't Swan the guy who said I was claiming Fravor hoax? Well, no. Maybe, I don't know. Everybody says everything one time or another. Buddy and Spiffy, good to see you. Thomas and Cupcake and everyone, so glad to be here. So glad that you're here. Love the sunglasses on, Buddy. Holy cow, look how cute that is. That is amazing. Holy cow. Brian Beck is here. Everybody, big news today. Sam Fraz is around. Conundrum. I could have 2 or 3 of those for today. Short change, long range. Well, he keeps on changing his name. Russell Kearley. Thank you for giving here. Is this redemption for Bob Lazar? No. With a smile. Let's leave Bob out of this, don't we? Starts with a B, ends with a B. 3 seconds, Bob. What is your first name? Gotta love good old days from Slante is here. Good to see you, my friend. Intergalactic Anglers around. Liz, Kai, Aiko. Yes, we are Grusch. You better believe it. Undrum, or Drum 2 is around. Welcome, my friends. Oh, we're getting towards the bottom. I can get past this conundrum. You better believe it. Oh, is there anybody else? Marcus Mandel? No, Manuel. I think we're there. I think we've made it, Lance Coles. My goodness. And we did have Studio One Live, made it in at the last minute with Captain Brian. Huskers is around. Holy cow. James Friday the 13th. Ozark Craft. Yes, we're all here. And whoa. That means that's right. I missed that one. We got one last super chat that came in from Ozark Craft. Some will be left behind. Exciting times for progression. Bring on Mr. East. Mr. East? Who's Mr. East? I don't know, but we'll figure it out. Anybody else that I missed? I think on that note, Brent Perryman, Stoned Ape. Where is Fry My Nipples? I don't see you, Fry. We miss you today, Ted Aussie, all the way from Australia. Holy Call Pyramid 7 is even here. DC, you better believe it. And on that note, we are going to go ahead and say thank you for everybody for coming out tonight. That is the longest open that I've had in a while. I'm afraid to see how many people are here. On that note, let's go ahead and start the music and see who in the hell we have in the back. Yeah, it's that time of the night again where we're going to go ahead and bring out our chat and see who we have around. Yes, we just got a super chat coming in. Believe it or not, one last one from Stoned Ape. Thank you very much, Stoned Ape. On that note, let's see who we have out there, shall we? Let's take a look and see. Well, would you look at that? All the way from the lands of Oregon. Larry Gurnt. Larry, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty damn good, you know. Let's see. By the way, best chat is We Are Groot. It's from We Are Groot, right?
Yeah.
From that great movie. Yeah, what a day. Holy shit.
I know. It started with Swan at 5:30 in the morning calling and then having conversations with him, and then messages from Larry saying, we need to go live now. People want us to talk and cover on the subject. But Larry, I've got one of those things called a JOB.
I know.
I'd love to, but
I was up all night because I don't know. I think it dropped at like, what time did it drop? Anyway, I can't remember.
3 a.m. Pacific, I hear.
What time?
Maybe 3 a.m. Pacific, give it or take. Maybe 5 a.m. somewhere along.
That's like what? That's like 6 a.m., right? Eastern.
Yeah.
So 7 a.m.
Yeah, it would be about 4. There you go.
4, yeah.
And I'm not sure if... Back
Larry,
chat.
I had a hard time concentrating at work, too.
Oh, I bet.
On. They're complaining about the back chat is a little quiet. Can I get a sound check from you, Swan?
Testing 1 2 3.
One more time.
Testing 1 2 3.
Okay, that should be good. We'll see where that goes now. On that note, Swan Patel, welcome to the show, my friend. Great to have you here as one of the 11 people in the back right now. Holy cow.
Absolutely. I can't wait to dive into this juicy story.
Absolutely. Also in the back, we've got LM. Lee, how the hell are you after such a great weekend?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks for coming out today as well. We have Michael Sokoloff. Thank you for being here today, Michael.
You're welcome, Thomas. Looks like we finally got some progress going here, eh?
Yeah, I would hope so. Also, then in the back from the great state of Canada, we've got Paul Murphy. Welcome, Paul. How you doing today?
Good, Thomas. Glad to be here. And we are a country. I'm just going to keep reminding you.
I know. Just having some fun with it. What the heck? Also in the back, we've got Peter Panda showed up again. Welcome, Peter. How you doing today? Unmute.
Hey, Thomas. Good. Looks like a big news day.
Yeah, big news day. Great dog day as well. Thank you for stopping in today, Peter. Also in the back, we've got SOG pilot Bill. How you doing today, my friend?
Hello, Thomas and Disclosure family. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, wonderful having you here as well. Also, we have Syrup. Welcome, Syrup.
Hey, Thomas. Look forward to tonight's show. It's going to be a good one, man.
I hope so as well. Then that leads us up to Talking Surface Monkey. How you doing, Mr. Monkey?
Good. Looking forward to the show.
Oh, absolutely. Same here. Also in the back, we've got Tamisha Bertrand. How you doing, Tamisha?
I'm good, thank you.
I did that on purpose,
I know you did. I'm so excited about tonight's show.
Oh, so am I.
Missed it all.
And leaving West for last. West, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I just want to say hello from the great country of Texas.
Yeah, such a great country. Well, it did used to be a country, didn't it?
Yeah, yes, for a short period of time.
Yeah, it did. You never know. It could become one again.
I'm afraid that's actually one of those things that you hear bandied about sometimes.
I know. In the great state of Texas. Holy cow. Uh-oh. Artie is going after Cupcakes food, but I have someone else to chase him here today. Hey, Luke, how you doing? That takes everybody in the back, and that takes us up to, let's kill this music here. We're not going to rewind it, start it again. We got to start the show again. There we go. Anyway, to go along with the usual things that I say at the show, holy cow, it happened. Some great information came through, something that we didn't think was going to happen, and eventually did happen. But wait, before we get there, we did have one more super chat come in that I missed, I believe. One from Daryl Zernick. Let's get through this really quick. Changing my Doty believability percent from 66 to 75. And then, of course, Stone Dave lighting us on fire. UFOs are on fire. Thank you very much for the last two super chats. Holy cow. Coming in to get the show happening. All right, on that note. Well, one of the things, since we're in the studio ready, we can jump into and check out. There's actually a great... Should we start with the video, you think? Or
I think we should start with debrief.
Well, we could. We could. Thank God Patrick is here. Oh, all right, Patrick Fogarty.
Patrick, great to see you, buddy.
Great to see you, Patrick. Absolutely. Now, what happened in a small recap? Well, apparently, there's a whistleblower who came forward, who is a special whistleblower. He's blown more whistles than a lot of people have ever known that they could possibly be blown. No, just being not so serious about being serious. Someone came out about UFOs, that is, and dropped a huge truth bomb on the lies and disinformation and misinformation spread as recently in the last couple months coming from Aro and Sean Fitzpatrick. Sean, you've been lying to us, and now we know. You act like there's no information. We don't know shit. We haven't gotten anything. Yet we've got someone who came forward and said, hey, guys, we've got intact craft. And some of the words he used about that we're going to dig into, because it sounds like craft we've actually taken over, besides one that have been potentially abandoned. Why would they be abandoned?
Probably because we tried to kill them all.
Could be, possibly, but we'll get into that. So I guess we're going to go into the
Virginia.
Huh?
Virginia, 1996. That's kind of what happened. Abandoned.
Yeah. Could be, possibly it is. Would you look at that? One more person came in from the great state of Canada. Fry My Nipples. Welcome, Fry My Nipples. Thanks for coming on here today and for sharing some love. I actually have a feeling I want to start with the video first, and then we'll get into the details. Let's do that.
Go for it, Thomas.
It's a little bit easier for me to get things started here. Plus, I got to run around with Cupcake, get her taken care of, and it'll allow me to do that. Yes.
Can you play the whole thing, or do you have to stop it?
Oh, fuck no. This is a news station. We can go ahead and play the whole fucking clip, as long as I put into it that we're dealing with stuff from, fair use. They're not going to come back and strike my ass. So let's go ahead and let's show this clip coming to us from... Uh-oh. I got to do something here. Gary is molesting. Larry is molesting Gary. Okay, let's get this thing started, shall we? Let's.
Bombshell claims from a military whistleblower. UFO
Crap.
wreckage.
It's still too quiet. Hold on. I need to fix this a little bit more. Now, I know I cranked this audio up really fucking loud. Give me a second here. I need to go check one thing, make sure my audio wasn't cranked down in the wrong place. Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why it's so quiet. Wow. Wow. Hold on. I wonder why it was so quiet. Cupcake, you gotta wait. Give me 1 second here. Let's get into filters. Let's turn that gain off, that gain off. Turn this one back on. Now I think we should be fine.
Bombshell claims from a military whistleblower. UFO wreckage recovered by the U.S. kept classified by a secret government program for decades. Tonight, a world television exclusive you will only see on News Nation. Welcome to Elizabeth Vargas Reports, earning your trust every night.
Thomas, we have no video.
UFOs exist. The U.S. government found quite a number of them, and they are indeed of non-human origin. Those are the explosive allegations from a former intelligence officer tonight in a whistleblower complaint that the Inspector General is taking very seriously.
You can't hear it in the back?
We can't see the video in the back.
Can't see it.
You can't see it either.
No, we can hear it.
What the hell? You never told me. There we go. Start virtual camera. Now you can you hear it all in the back, or you cannot see it as well?
We couldn't see it, but now we can see it.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize it. Here we go.
36-year-old Air Force veteran David Grusche is exposing what he calls a top-secret military program that has reportedly found wreckage of fully intact UFOs. The government now calls them UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena. For years, there have been whispers and rumors that the government had aircraft of non-human origin. This report is the first evidence it might be true. The Inspector General has called Grusche's complaint urgent and credible. Tonight, we have a world television exclusive interview with the whistleblower in which he claims we not only have the aircraft, but the government has been keeping much of it secret from Congress and from the public. News Nation senior national correspondent Brian Enton is here with the story, and this is a blockbuster.
It is a blockbuster. It's really hard to wrap your mind around this. I've been working on this for the past couple of weeks. I'm still having a hard time processing all of it. Over the last couple of years, it sort of became mainstream to discuss UFOs. The government has released videos. They've acknowledged that we don't know what some of this stuff is out there that we have on camera, but this really takes it all to another level. For the very first time, the world is about to hear from a former high-level U.S. intelligence officer who says the government has some of the unidentified craft in its possession. He is revealing these exclusive details about the secret government program.
We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
We have all seen these blurry videos of unidentified flying objects. Video evidence, if you will, that old tales of UFOs may not all be conspiracy theories. In recent years, Congress starting an official U.S. government Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, recently renamed the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. And now in a News Nation exclusive, David Grusche, an Air Force veteran, former member of that task force, and veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, is formally blowing the whistle on secrets he says no one has ever shared publicly before.
You are one of the most trusted former intelligence officials in the U.S. defense and intelligence establishment.
Yes, I was.
You were trusted with the most intimate secrets.
Yes.
Grusche sitting down with award-winning investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who's reporting for News Nation and has spent years reporting on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will,
non-human origin vehicles. Call a spacecraft if you will. But he's not calling it a spacecraft. He's calling it a non-human origin vehicle. Or, not the NHO, as we usually call the non-human intelligence. Right, Swan?
Yep.
Human, exotic origin, vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me they were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grusch alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying he gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. News Nation has confirmed David Grusch's credentials and resume. We've not seen or verified the alleged proof he says he's provided to investigators. He says he can't show us the proof for national security reasons. He also tells us he's not seen photos of the alleged craft himself, but has talked extensively with other intelligence officials who have.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth.
He almost looks like a young version of Ross. Just saying.
Everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-human?
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
It's all okay. At the start of every show, I talk about the government cover-up that's been going on. I admitted to the last 90 years, in the last 75 years, talking about how we've done our experiments and gotten the DNA from these things to figure out our own and accelerate our understanding of our own. This is what I've been talking about, folks.
Is that Chet from Weird Science?
Was that? No.
Guy looks like Chet from Weird Science.
Okay.
Harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept of.
Did I just skip on accident? Oh, fuck. Hold on.
Okay. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me they were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grusch alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying he gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. News Nation has confirmed David Grusch's credentials and resume.
Well, look at that right there in front. Disclosure of urgent concerns, complaint of reprisal. Not only is he trying to bring forward the truth, there's actually complaints of reprisal that he's put into play.
We've not seen or verified the alleged proof he says he's provided to investigators. He says he can't show us the proof for national security reasons. He also tells us he's not seen photos of the alleged craft himself, but has talked extensively with other intelligence officials who have.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
we're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-human?
naturally, when you recover something that's either
nuts.
landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
I just want to bring this up really quick. Flashback to, I think it was in the 70s. We had Uri Geller coming out and saying, hey, I was just to a facility at Goddard Space Center with Werner von Braun, you know, the rocket scientist guy who came from the Germans in World War II. Took him to Goddard Space Center, to a facility that was 4 stories underground, where he got to put on one of those big bright orange NASA parkas, got to go in the deep freezer and see some of these things, entities that were no longer alive, put on ice.
I did not know that.
Yes.
I did not know that factoid about Uri Geller.
Yes, and it's an interesting one.
Also harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept of a crashed object from somewhere else. It's easier to accept that, yeah, we see things in the sky that we can't explain.
Journalist Leslie Kean broke Grusch's whistleblower story this morning in the debrief. Miss Kean's career...
Right, well, which we'll be checking shortly. Remember, Leslie Kean, she's the one of the 2 reporters who broke the story of Lou Elizondo in the New York Times back in 2017, right, Larry?
Right.
Yeah, that's her importance on this. People have said, oh, this story is going to come out. Who's going to cover it? Who's going to cover it? And I said, Leslie Kean, she's been in too many places out in the forefront lately, and I'm glad to see they gave the story to Leslie because she deserved it.
I'm glad my sources were right that Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie were covering it.
Hey, before you had sources, I was the one who said who's going to cover it. I said Leslie.
I just wanted to mention that I had dinner with Leslie Kean, but not just with her, but this was many, many years ago, me and my wife. And it was a threesome. No, just kidding. But she's been at this for so long now. And you know, she's taken a conservative streak on the topic. And for that reason, I didn't find her all that interesting, but I have newfound respect now because Grusch, I mean, Grusch is the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
He chose her.
Yeah.
And it's because she has been so credible and taken that more conservative stance.
Did he choose her, or was he recommended by Lou? We'll find out.
I don't know. That's a good idea.
Oh, would you look at that? We have a couple more super chats that have come in the last couple minutes. Holy cow. I just want to thank Lord William for another super chat. Great show tonight, Thomas. I love you, man. Love you too, Larry. Thank you very much, Lord William. We love you as well, my friend. Let's continue on.
Thomas, wait, I just wanted to say one thing really quick. Green Street actually said he called up Grusch and Grusch hanged up on him. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Grusch is like, I'm not talking to
How did he get Grusch's phone number?
I don't know, but apparently that's what happened.
Well, got a good thing.
Extremely incredible, having written a series of reports on UFOs in the New York Times dating back to 2017. He has the credentials, but there's no documents that he's handed over. There's no pictures. And as a journalist, you want to see documents, you want to see pictures. Does that raise a red flag?
Not at all, Brian. I mean, you mean documents that actually describe the craft?
Correct, yeah, like government documents, or to be able to see it for ourselves.
Of course, don't we all want that? And the problem with that is all of that information is classified. You know, as we said in the story, everything that Grusch told Congress and told the Inspector General of both the IC, the Intelligence Community Inspector General, and the Department of Defense Inspector General, all of that information is classified.
In 2017, Kean reported exclusively in the New York Times that the Pentagon had a secret UFO program. 3 years later, the Pentagon confirmed her story. Her latest report is even more explosive, but Kean says she has multiple sources who back up Grusch's story.
I believe it because of all the sources I have who have told me the same thing. So who am I to doubt these very, very high-level people who have been inside these programs for decades, have done their work, and are all telling me the same thing? I mean, I don't think there's some kind of conspiracy among all these people who don't know each other to make something like this up.
So I've got to be blunt about this. You're not making this up. This is not a lie.
No, absolutely not.
Because everybody watching this right now is looking at your face. They're going, is this guy for real?
I am for real. And I'm sitting here at great personal risk and obvious professional risk by talking to you today.
And just within the last 10 minutes or so, the Pentagon has released a statement to News Nation about this report. They say to date, AARO has not discovered any verifiable information to substantiate claims that any programs regarding the possession or reverse engineering of extraterrestrial materials have existed in the past or exist currently.
Bullshit.
AARO is committed to following the data and its investigation wherever it leads. AARO, working with the Office of the General Counsel and the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, has established a safe and secure process for individuals to come forward with information to aid AARO in its congressionally mandated historical review. AARO's historical review of records and testimonies is ongoing and due to Congress by June 2024, and AARO welcomes the opportunity to speak with any former or current employee or contractor who believes they have information relevant to this historical review. And Elizabeth, we know that David Grusche, he's filed that whistleblower complaint. He's been on the record under oath testifying to many of these things that he said in our report tonight.
Right, and it's important to point out that this statement from the Pentagon, from AARO, Grusche is alleging that this top secret program is keeping it a secret from AARO. So.
Yeah, exactly. And if Grusche what he's saying is true, the spokespeople, all of those folks at that level wouldn't even know this was going on anyway.
All right, I got to ask you, he has a compelling story to tell. Very little of it seems like firsthand knowledge. Isn't he just repeating what somebody else has told him or somebody else has showed him?
Yes, that is what he's doing, but he says he's talked to a number of people who are in very, very high level positions. He also had basically the highest level of classified material information that he was able to receive.
Same as Lou Elizondo, but there's also something called a whistleblower reprisal complaint to get with the IG that we'll be covering shortly that gets into this, so it gets much more interesting.
We went back and checked over, his history, all of his credentials.
He checks
check out completely. Unfortunately, there's
in addition, a couple people have come forward publicly to vouch for him. People who are high-ranking.
They have, and this article first came out this morning, and I think it's interesting that there hasn't been any sort of effort to discredit what he has said either from the Defense Department.
So interesting. So what happens? And have we had any reaction, by the way, from members of Congress who have been taking this seriously in the last couple of years? We've seen congressional hearings. We've seen NASA's hearing just about a week ago on UFOs or UAPs, whatever you prefer to call them. We've seen the DNI give a briefing to the White House on this. We've been hearing whispers and rumors for years. I remember even former President Trump, when he was in office, sort of saying, "Oh my gosh, if you knew what I knew about UFOs."
Yeah.
So there's always been this intrigue.
There has, and think about it, Elizabeth, if you go back 15 or 20 years, if we were sitting here talking about UFOs, people would think that we were nutty. Now it's gotten to the level of where it is somewhat accepted because the government has come forward to a certain extent and acknowledged that there are these videos that exist. The Navy has released the videos themselves and said, we're not sure exactly what this is that we're seeing. Of course, what Grusche is saying really just sort of takes it to the next level.
Boy, it sure does. It's almost impossible to believe. All right, Brian Nenton, thanks so much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
All right, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
on your
interesting thing about this is one little tidbit, 17 minutes long. But there's 8 hours of an interview that yet has to be brought forward. So there is a lot of stuff, a lot of details that we're going to be getting into here on Disclosure tonight over time.
Thomas, tomorrow they're going to release another segment of 20 minutes, I think, probably 20 minutes.
Oh, nice.
On more of Grush's interview with
So
Coulthard.
every day we've got a little bit more information to come forward with, a little bit more details. We know that Ross Coulthard is trying to get the details out and bring up information as well. He wants to bring out that full 8 hour interview. Or is it 7 or 8 hour, guys?
7 hour, and Peter and Larry have his hands up.
All right. Actually, first person up we have is Talking Surface Monkey, Mr. Monkey.
Yes, I wanted to point out, you notice how Ross Coulthard said that we have craft from another
species. He didn't say aliens he didn't say extraterrestrials. He didn't say from another planet. He said species, because I think he knows that some of these crafts originate from this planet, as opposed to,
well, he didn't say another species. We also have craft that aren't necessarily spacecraft. But if we have, it could be an ancient civilization that's on this planet, to your point, Mr. Monkey, or it could potentially be something of some sort of civilization that came here tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years ago. But just like anyone who plops into the United States and has a baby, they're a citizen. Well, if they came here millions of years ago and they had their babies and reproduced and everything, guess what? They're a citizen of this planet just as much as anyone would be a citizen of the United States of America, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. All right, let's. Daryl Zernick says the brief article said that Grusch helped write the whistleblower protection language and the NDA. Yes, that was something that actually Danny Sheehan leaked out too. You know who else said they did that? Doty, right? No, Doty did not say he helped do the NDA language. NDAA language was actually carved by Lou Elizondo, David Gruscch, Carl Nell, and Gary Nolan are the other ones who are actually went and worked at least with parts of Congress to go ahead and get the language there. It doesn't mean that Doty and his particular organization wasn't helping other people in Congress to get the language there. But we know that Team Lou was all a part of that task. So on to the story over at, thank you very much, Daryl Zernick, for that wonderful super chat. The story at the debrief. Shall we get into this one?
Thomas, Larry, and Peter have their hand up.
Oh, sorry. Peter, you have your hand up next. Peter Panda.
Yes, I just wanted to point one thing out on Susan Goff's statement.
Yes.
If you look at what she said when she started off there, I believe she said Arrow has no information on this. But who does Susan Goff work for?
Oh, that's right, the DOD. She's not saying that the DOD doesn't have information on this.
She's not saying the DOD doesn't. She says Arrow isn't. So she is spokesperson for Arrow now? Why is she limiting it to Arrow, saying Arrow has no information? We didn't ask that.
Well, that's a good way to put it. If she quantifies it down and say, well, this little portion of the government over here, they don't have any information because we haven't given them any.
Exactly, but no one asked her what Arrow said. They asked her if you had this, she came out with this information that, hey, Arrow has no information about this, but she doesn't work for Arrow, so she's not the spokesperson
Susan
for Arrow.
Goff is the official public affairs officer for everything UAP or UFO coming from the federal government. That's more than just the DOD. So she has the breadth and depth to speak to anything about UAPs reported from the federal government.
Right, but she made sure to say just within the scope of Arrow has no information on this.
She narrowed the scope to say, yeah, these schmucks over here don't have anything, but she didn't say, no, the DOD doesn't have any information on this at all. She didn't say that. Great point, Peter.
Exactly.
You ever think about writing contracts?
I don't think I do well in law, but thanks.
Oh, but you're good at catching the clauses. Holy cow. Larry Gurton, your hand is up next.
Yeah. Let's see. On Susan Go, what was I going to say now? Oh, shit.
Want to come back at it?
Yeah, come back.
All right. SOG pilot, Bill, you have your hand up, my friend.
Yes. I did some research, and I think that although it's very slightly off topic, I think it's germane. It does dovetail with what we're talking about here. And this really is a follow-up on our conversation that we had a couple of days ago regarding these craft, the nature of these crafts, the behavior of them, the things that they're doing. And we talked about a couple of things, including speeds they generate, the G-forces, distance and time that they are able to travel in our atmosphere, and those sorts of things. So now, I'm not a pointy-headed technoid. I'm more of a knuckle dragger, but I do believe in due diligence. So I did a bunch of research and some mathematical calculations I thought that you all would find quite fascinating. So I analyzed one sighting that we're all very aware of, the one from November 14, 2004, the Tic Tac video, the sighting by Commander Faber in his FA-18 Hornet. as part of the Nimitz Carrier Battle Group. So just to paint a little bit of background on this, you had a Ticonderoga class guided missile cruiser as part of that carrier battle group that had at the time the most advanced radar system. Is called Spy 1. They also had an E-2 Hawkeye, which is a carrier-based turbo engine aircraft which supports the carrier battle group and provides a much wider range of radar. So you had both this Ticonderoga class guided missile cruiser and the E-2 Hawkeye saw this object for several days. And that's puzzling to me why they didn't make it known sooner. But nonetheless, the guided missile cruiser, the Princeton, asked that 2 F-18 Hornets that were in the air at the time investigate this object that they were seeing, this contact that they were seeing on their radar, corroborated by the E-2 Hawkeye. And so they gave them a vector based on the altitude range of the object. So bottom line is the two-ship formation goes in. Favor dives down to the object, which was just above the water. He asked his wingman to stay high. As he approached the object stopped, then came directly toward him, which is kind of a merging course. It would be considered a threat. Then it stopped and began mirroring his movements and his speed. In other words, as he was moving forward, this object was moving backward at exactly the same speed and mimicking his direction, any change in his direction. Then he made an aggressive move toward the object by going full throttle. And when he did that, the object disappeared. Within a second, it went all the way out to the horizon. Now, this was tracked on radar from the carrier battle group. The object traveled 60 miles in 5 seconds. So I did a calculation on the speed that's required to cover 60 miles in 5 seconds. I also did calculations on the G-forces and the heat generated as that object travels through the atmosphere. And so I just want to talk a little bit about that because I think you'll all be quite astonished. So the object, in order to go that distance in 5 seconds, was traveling at 43,200 miles per hour. Now, to put that in perspective, we talked about Mach speeds in our last conversation, that this spherical object was going up to Mach 2. 43,200 miles per hour, with Mach speed being 768 miles per hour, that's the speed of sound, was traveling at Mach 56.25. And this again was observed prior to this event, this object going 60 miles in 5 seconds. The Princeton saw it at 80,000 feet descending to 50 feet above the water in less than 1 second. Now, and this was researched extensively and confirmed. To cover 80,000 feet in less than a second, and I was generous, I calculated based on 1 second, that object was traveling 54,545 miles per hour, or Mach 71.
But it stopped on a dime when it hit 50 feet above sea level.
Yes, and that brings me to my G-force calculation. In order for something to travel that speed and come to a sudden stop, and I was generous, I said a stop within 1 second, that object would be generating. Now, a human being can withstand up to 10 Gs. At that point, a lot of bad things happen to the human body. The G-force that object encountered when it did that thing was 2,484 Gs, 2,400 Gs, where a human body can only withstand 10 Gs. That is a pressing force of 496,711 pounds. That's the force that would be felt if an object decelerated that rapidly when it was traveling.
And some of these maneuvers that they observed, Bill, were actually, if you were to take the energy required to do some of these moves of what they were doing, it would take more energy than the output of all the nuclear reactors on our planet combined, like for a day output. It's crazy.
It's mind-boggling. And so I don't doubt this guy at all, that guy that's making this disclosure. I find it fascinating. I wish he had firsthand knowledge. In other words, saw this himself. rather than hearing it through other officials. Nonetheless, he seems credible. And I just want to leave one thought, and this is just to put it in perspective. This is human technology compared to what I just described. A space shuttle, which we're all familiar with, to reach 80,000 feet with its advanced rocket systems, takes 180 seconds. And the G forces are experienced by the astronauts are 3 Gs, 180 seconds. This thing did it in less than 1 second.
I know, it's amazing stuff, isn't it?
SOG, I think he did. So he didn't see. I think what we're gonna learn about there is that he didn't see the craft in person, but he saw satellite photos. I think because he worked in the NGO,
the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency.
And another thing to keep in mind too is, correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas or Sawan, but the people that gave him this info also testified to his claims, correct?
We will get into that part of the article soon. Let's not spoil it for everybody.
Sorry.
Larry, we've got one last comment for you to bring up before we actually two people. Larry, your hand's up next. Your hand was up before you remembered what you wanted to say. Then I want to get into this article because we've got 50 minutes.
It's a good thing I didn't forget again. Ross Coulthart actually suggested that that Kirkpatrick knew about this testimony or received it, and also Gillibrand. So at the time
we'll get into all of that stuff shortly. Absolutely.
Okay.
Also, then, Syrup, is there anything else, Syrup, really quick here, or do we got you?
No, sorry about that.
And also, then, Glenn. Glenn, you've got your last hand up before we get into this. Welcome to the show, Glenn. What do you have to say?
Hey, thanks for doing this. This is pretty incredible testimony. I mean, it's very exciting, especially what you said, 20 hours of this testimony, something like that.
There's 8 hours of testimony that's been video recorded.
Yeah, and is that with Ross?
That's with Ross, yeah. 7 hours, actually. I'm sorry.
That's super exciting. It's amazing. I've been asking people and stuff. I was, these chrome spheres people were talking about.
Yeah.
I actually met a kid who, his story, again, it's just stories I'm hearing. He saw one about 20 feet away from him fly up just north of Colorado Springs.
Yep.
And it zipped right in front of him. I'm going to be talking to him more. But as I was thinking about this, these spheres, like it's a, I don't know, probe, a drone, whatever. But his description was that it was not gloss. It was kind of a matte or satiny finish.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, isn't that interesting? Wouldn't that be almost a great surveillance thing if you tuck a not super glossy, but somewhat satin thing into a thicket? You wouldn't see it because it would be reflecting all of everything around it.
Right. Potentially, yes. But remember, we have Bill here who actually saw one up close in his Piper 140 plane.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what this kid was saying. It was right there. And then I talked to another gentleman just today. He was in Anaheim as a kid when he was 5 years old. He's an old guy now, but his brothers also saw this. He just told me today that he had, when he was a kid, 5 years old, something huge, again, he's 5 years old, crashed through and landed in his yard, breaking the fence. His dad was pissed off that the fence was broken. And the next day, government vehicles came and collected this thing.
Oh, wow.
And his dad was pretty pissed off. And so it's when he says, we've got crashed vehicles or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how do you cross-reference something like that? I mean, this is just a testing.
First we have to break the organization before we're going to get the details to come out. And that's what David is doing, and what he's trying to bring forward is it's basically trying to crack open that sphere of the unknown coming from our government. And if I could get into this, I know we've had a lot of hands up and everything. I'm going to have to hold off on any more hands. Oh, God. Larry, last two. Larry, last one up, and then Patrick. You're muted, Larry.
Sorry, Thomas. Real quick, I want you guys to be on the lookout in the information that we're about to cover about the subject of a publicly unknown Cold War of reverse engineering.
It's been going on for 90 years.
That's right. Well,
it's a spoiler alert again, Larry. If you're interested, wait till we bring it up and then raise your hand.
This is something that was not emphasized well today, but it was brought out.
Okay. Gotcha. Patrick Fogarty, last person, your hand was up. You put it down. You there, Patrick?
Yeah, Larry, I'm glad you said that because I'm going to curtail at the end of that. There's a theory that one of the reasons Russia isn't backing down is just as with World War II, you had a new technology that was being brought out. And I think there's a competition of who's going to show up first, because when this comes out, it's going to say a lot more than just, hey, we've got a weapon. They're going to have to say where this came from.
Yeah.
China wants to do it. Russia wants to do it. We want to do it, but nobody wants to do it.
This is one of those things where you're not going to be able to get Genie back in the bottle. That's what I'm looking forward to. Thank you, Patrick, for that insight. Yeah. All right, here we go. So coming to us from Leslie Keene and Ralph Blumenthal. All right, a former intelligence official turned whistleblower has given Congress and the intelligence community inspector general extensive classified information about deeply covert programs that he says possess retrieved intact and partially intact craft of non-human origin. Bam, out of the box. The information, he says, has been illegally withheld from Congress, and he filed a complaint alleging that he suffered illegal retaliation for his confidential disclosures, reported here for the first time. Other intelligence officials, both active and retired, with the knowledge of these programs through their work in various agencies, have independently provided similar corroborating information both on and off the record. The whistleblower, David Charles Grusch, DCG, age 36, a decorated former combat officer in Afghanistan, is a veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, known as the NGA, and the National Reconnaissance Office, also known as the NRO, which was interestingly brought up by Richard Doty several times. He served as the Reconnaissance Office's representative to the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force from 2019 to 2021. From late 21 to July 2022, he was the NGA's co-lead for UAP analysis and its representative to the task force. Let's say that again. He was the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency's co-lead for UAP analysis. So to say we don't have facts, that that RO doesn't have any information, all information from the NGA went into RO. It also went to NASIC. To say that Sean Kirkpatrick doesn't have any of this information? What are you smoking? It sounds like he's smoking a whistle or three. Holy cow. So, the task force was established to investigate what were once called unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, and we still call them UFOs for a reason here on Disclosure tonight, because there's a word for it in every single language around the world through a perpetuity. So, yes, and are now officially called unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP. But if you want to connect with the world, that's why Lou Elizondo today still calls them UFOs. He went back from UAP to call them UFOs, because if you want to connect with a large audience, you use UFOs. The task force was led by the Department of Navy under the office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security. Ooh, Ron Moultrie. It has since been reorganized and expanded to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, also known as ARO, to include investigations of objects operating underwater. But remember, as of recently, Sean Kirkpatrick denies they have any information about any objects that operated underwater. Bullshit. Yeah.
Hello, Sean.
Yeah. Bastard. When are you going to resign, Sean? It's about time, huh? You getting tired?
He is tired.
Yeah, Grusch said the recoveries of partial fragments through up to intact vehicles have been made for decades. through the present day by the government, its allies, and defense contractors. Oh, could that include part of the defense contractors such as Monsanto and their security arm? We're going to find out really soon, folks. Did I say that? Oh, yes, I did. Monsanto security arm possibly did a lot of dirty work for the DOD. There's a lot of organizations who we don't realize. We all want to point our finger at Lockheed Skunk Works or other ones. No, it's spread all over the place, folks, and we have to realize that. They're going to be saying these things are hidden in plain sight, just like the Need to Know podcast. So, analysis has determined that the objects retrieved are, quote, of exotic origin. There is our favorite words we've been wanting to hear forever, non-human intelligence, whether extraterrestrial or unknown origin. So they could be from this planet. They could be from someplace else. We're not going to say there's a spaceship, but we're definitely not humans, a.k.a. non-human intelligence. I love it. Based on the vehicle morphologies. The fuck is a morphology?
Shape.
Hey, Google, define morphology.
It's shape.
The study of the the study of the forms of things and material science testing and the possession of unique atomic arrangements and radiological signatures. He said, remember, these things are not, Gary Nolan has said, these things are not created out of, what do you call it? Various, they're made out of isotopes. They're not made out of minerals, whatever you want to call it. Periodic chart of things, yes.
This is a key point.
Yes. In filing his complaint, Grusch is represented by a lawyer who served as the original intelligence community inspector general. We've learned a lesson. He's not represented by Danny Sheehan. And that's a good thing. We are, quote, we are not talking about the prosaic origins or identities, which is all that Sean Fitzpatrick from ARO wants to bring out. Grusch said, referencing information he provided to Congress and the current ICIG, quote, the materials includes intact and partially intact vehicles. In accordance with protocols, Grusch provided the Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review at the Department of Defense with the information he intended to disclose to us. His on-the-record statements were all cleared for open publication on April 4th and 6th, 2023, in the documents provided us. Grusch's disclosures and those non-public witnesses under new protective provisions of the latest defense appropriation bills signal a growing determination by some in the government to unravel a colossal enigma within the national security implications that has bedeviled the military and tantalized the public going back to World War II and beyond. For many decades, the Air Force carried out a disinformation campaign to discredit reported sightings of unexplained objects. Now, with 2 public hearings and many classified briefings under its belt, Congress is pressing for answers. Now, Carl E. Nell, a recently retired Army colonel and current aerospace executive who was the Army's liaison for the UAP task force from 2021 to 2022 and worked with Grusch, characterizes Grusch as beyond approach. Or if you remember, if you would have caught it 2 Saturdays ago, we actually had an off-the-books expose of Carl Nell. A great guy. He is a phenomenal individual who is also striving to bring forward the truth. Now, if you remember Christopher Mellon, who spent nearly 20 years in the U.S. intelligence community and served as a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, has worked with Congress for years on UAP. Quote, a number of well-placed current and former officials have shared detailed information with me regarding this alleged program, including insights into the history, governing documents, and the location of the craft where it was allegedly abandoned and recovered.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow. Absolutely. Mellon said, however, it's a delicate matter getting this potentially explosive information into the right hands for validation. This is made harder by the fact that, rightly or wrongly, a number of potential sources do not trust the leadership of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office established by Congress. Oh, you mean they don't trust Sean Fitzpatrick? Are you surprised, guys? I'm certainly not, because I don't trust him. Do you?
Yeah, I would trust him.
I don't trust him.
You would trust Fitzpatrick, really?
Tote the government's line.
Yes. We trust him to lie, but some insiders are now willing to take... Yes, sir.
I just want to say I would trust a hornet in my room than him.
Yes. There you go. But some insiders are now willing to take the risk of coming forward for the first time with knowledge of these recovery programs. Holy shit. Jonathan Gray is a generational officer of the United States intelligence community with a top secret clearance who currently works for the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, also known as NASIC. Remember, all information that's being brought out as part of NDAA 2023 is all being funneled to NASIC, in addition to being funneled to Sean Fitzpatrick. And here's the thing, Sean, if you're lying and you're not telling the truth, NASIC is going to know because they have the same information you have, you fuckwad. Just saying. Where the analysis of UAP has been in focus. Previously, he had experience serving private aerospace and defense special directive task forces. Interesting. Quote, the non-human intelligence phenomenon is real. Can I say that again? I'm going to. The non-human intelligence phenomena is real. We are not alone. You got that, everybody? You can go home now. No, I'm joking, but this is what we've been waiting to hear for the longest time. It's what we've been saying. And finally, the truth is leaking its way out. Not even leaking. It's being brought out, for that matter.
Brought out by a Gray.
I know it's being brought out by a Gray during Pride Month. They're coming out. The Galians are coming out. Holy cow. Retrievals of this kind are not limited to the United States. This is a global phenomenon, and yet a global solution continues to elude us. No, you know who said this about 3.5 weeks ago? Was it 4.5 weeks ago?
What's his name?
One of the generals from Space Force.
Oh, yes.
Which is right before that wonderful hearing we had with Fitzpatrick and Gillibrand, who might be compromised, by the way. Swan, he may have been right on that one. Just not the nasty things you said, but you may be right. You may be compromised.
Did you find out from another source, or are you on a hunch?
No, based on what you told me earlier today.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Coulthard thinks that both Kirkpatrick and possibly Gillibrand are compromised.
Okay, there you go.
Holy cow!
Yeah, who would have thought? Not me. Well, yeah, of course. We all think that, but, sometimes we have to be nice. At the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Grusch served as a senior intelligence capabilities integration officer.
Oops, sorry about that, man. I'm yelling at the dogs.
Just mute when you're done. There we go. Cleared at the top secret / secret compartmentalized information level, and was the agency's senior technical advisor for unidentified aerial phenomenon analysis. The hell did that go? Analysis, trans medium issues. From 2016 to 2021, he served with the National Reconnaissance Officer as a office as a senior intelligence officer and led the production of the National Reconnaissance Office's Director's Daily Briefing. Grusch was a GS-15 civilian, the military equivalent of a colonel, which basically takes him to the same level as Colonel John Alexander. Go figure. Who would have thought? Grusch has served as an intelligence officer for over 14 years. As a veteran of the Air Force, he received numerous rewards and decorations for his participation in covert and clandestine operations to advance American security. And there he is with his nice big gun. Isn't he nice and happy? You know what time it is on his watch. We'll have to look for it. Anyway, there he is in Afghanistan in 2013. According to a 2021 NRO performance report, Grusch was an intelligence strategist with multiple responsibilities who, quote, analyzed unidentified area phenomena reports, end quote, and, quote, boosted congressional leadership and gaps in understanding, end quote. He was assessed by the Reconnaissance Office's Operations Center Deputy Duty Director as an adept staff officer and strategist and, quote, total force integrator with innovative solutions and actionable results. A phenomenal person who is decorated at the highest levels. Grusch prepared many briefs on unidentified aerial phenomena for Congress while in government and helped draft a language on UAP for the FY 2023 National Defense Authorization Act, spearheaded by Senators Kirsten Gillibrand and Little Marco Rubio, and signed into law by President Biden, if he remembers it, in December 2022. The provision states that any person with relevant UAP information can inform Congress without retaliation, regardless of any previous non-disclosure agreements. In his statements cleared for publication by the Pentagon in April, Grusch asserted that, quote, that UFO, quote, legacy programs, end quote, have been concealed within, quote, multiple agencies, nesting UAP activities in conventional secret access programs without appropriate reporting to various oversight authorities. In other words, illegal operations. You got that? Illegal. Rhymes with China. All right. He said he reported to Congress on the existence of a decades-long, quote, publicly known Cold War for recovered and exploited physical material, a competition with near-peer adversaries over the years to identify UAP crashes, landings, and retrieve the material for exploitation, reverse engineering to garner asymmetric national defense advantages. Larry, you have your hand up.
Well, I didn't, but this is what I wanted to talk about because we have speculated about whether other countries, surely they must have had crashes as well. But then the only thing we ever thought about was Virginia, and in Virginia,
Virginia?
The United States came in and swooped it up right away. So it's kind of like that's where I stopped thinking about it. But now we know for sure that in fact Russia, China, all the big countries are in fact trying to reverse engineer the craft that they've recovered, and they're trying to get a military advantage. Now, this is why Grusch concedes that in his view, the technology needs to be hidden, but the fact that it's here and the fact that it's non-human should not be hidden. I disagree with them. I think the technology should be given to the entire world and shared. And I think we should all work on it together. And but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, shalala, kumbaya. It's never going to happen. There's always going to be evil governments in the world we're going to be going up against. We wish we could all come together and unite as what Ronald Reagan said. But the thing is, what they're saying here is the world's all of our adversaries from around the world know about this stuff. These things are crashing worldwide. They all know about it. Our government knows about it. They know about it. The biggest people that fuck these military clowns are going and keeping it out of is the mind of the American people and our public. Where
Thomas,
is this text coming from? Glenn Nordenberg,
Thomas.
this is coming from a story in the debrief.
Thomas, I just thought of something. I got to get it off my head. This explains why all these countries didn't speak up about the subject. I kept asking myself, well, I know the United States is trying to keep it secret, but some of these smaller countries, they should just come right out with it. But no, that's not the reason why they haven't spoken, is because they're doing the same thing we are.
But for the smaller countries who are in league with the United States of America, who ain't saying shit, the reason they're not saying shit is because they get a lot of financial aid with no strings attached, if you know what I mean. But there are strings attached. We're going to give you all this money, but we want you to get the stuff when it happens there, and you're not going to say anything about it. Otherwise, we're not going to give you this big pile of cash that we're not going to track. It's payola. It's bribing. So let's get back to this.
You know, be a shame if something happened to your pretty little country. You know, we really are your country.
It's bribing. It's bribing, and guess who's paying for that bribe? The American taxpayers.
That's absolutely right, Swan. You were on target. Mr. Monkey, you have your hand up for a while. How can I help you?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know how whenever our planes, have a mechanical issue, right? We send out a distress signal. I heard an interview where someone was talking about that. They said that, the occupants of the craft also do the same thing. Whenever their ships are in trouble, they send out a distress signal, and then it becomes a race between the other species and our military to see who can get to the crash site first. And as I've mentioned before, the reason why the United States is the only country that has military bases all over the planet is because that's where the crash retrieval guys are. So they can immediately get to anywhere on the planet where there's a crash, because they have to get to those crashes before this, the actual species, the other species. And remember, it's multiple species out there that are having these crashes. And I don't know, if they crash on their own or if somehow we are causing them to crash.
Yes.
How do you know? How do you know there are multiple species?
Because there's been several whistleblowers who have acknowledged that I've heard anywhere from 4 to 11 different species share the planet with us.
Well, that's coming from people along the lines of wonderful Linda Bolton Howell. We'll have to be careful on those.
What was that?
Me, I said you pick and choose what you believe. It just seems like, it's just whatever you feel like at the time or whatever. It's like you're on one side of the track, but you never think about the other side.
But Greg, isn't that kind of the place we're at right now? Whether you say, oh, well, NHI doesn't exist. Kirkpatrick said so. Arrow said so. Susan Goss says so. Well, they have to prove that they're telling the truth when they say that. Where's the proof that they actually don't have evidence of this shit?
The truth? What does that mean to anything if you don't have any proof? I mean, if it's
have no proof that NHI does exist or doesn't
Are you calling
exist.
Grusch a liar, Greg? Are you calling Grusch a liar?
No, my God, let's
It
not.
really
get into
just
that point.
depends on what side of the fence you want to be on, right? Because at the end of the day,
I'm not calling him a liar, but I don't believe him. I mean, he may do all that shit, but
he worked
I don't
as the senior official at the NGO.
Do I need to mute the bag? Hold on, guys.
I'll turn this car around right now.
Hold on.
There you go, Swan.
Let's get back into the story where we're at. We'll deal with this.
Useless.
Let's
Hey, Swan. Sorry, I just don't reach.
Okay, I'm muting the chat. Isn't this nice, everybody? I've now quieted down the chat.
How many times, Thomas, does this have to happen?
Nobody can hear the chat in the back. The audience can't hear you guys at this point, so you can go off at each other as much. Oh, let's just hold on. Oh my God. Okay, guys, enough in the back, please. Enough, please. Hey, guys, Swan, Greg, drop it, please. Let's just all get along? Can't we all just get along? Can I turn the chat audio back on again? All right, let's continue.
Fuck off.
Uh-oh. Damn it. Okay. Thought we're done. Okay.
All right, I'm done.
So beginning in 2020, no, don't be done. We're just fine. Just everyone quiet down and we'll all get through this all nice and happily. It's a wonderful day. Beginning in 2022, Grusch provided Congress with hours of recorded classified information, transcribed into hundreds of pages, which included specific data about the materials recovery program. Congress has not been provided with any physical materials related to wreckage or other non-human objects. So in other words, we have an illegal operation going on here. Michael?
Sorry, I have to go back to what Larry was saying. Larry, I agree with you on sharing the technology, because what it might do is create the perfect stalemate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very good point, Michael. And the other thing it might do is alleviate the tension, because if there's free energy technology and every country has access to it, that kind of reduces a lot of the inter-country tension.
Yeah,
but we're never going to get to that kumbaya moment. I'm just going to say that out front. I wish we could, but we're never going to hit that kumbaya moment because of our government and our military and everything else. Where we could hope for it, we just have to be realistic some days. I wish it would be different, but we are talking about the government. Let's move on before I have to go run off and get Cupcake, who's spinning in circles on the wrong part of the yard. So Grusch's investigation was centered on extensive interviews with high-level intelligence officials, some of whom are directly involved with the program. He says the operation was illegally shielded from proper congressional oversight and that he was targeted and harassed because of his investigation, which is true, but I can't talk about it. Grusch said that the craft recovery operations are ongoing at various levels of activity, and that he knows of these specific individuals, current and former, who are involved. So he knows where the bodies are, and they still have a pulse, and they're still doing their job. That's an important thing to take a look at. So, quote, individuals on these UAP programs approached me in my official capacity and disclosed their concerns regarding a multitude of wrongdoings, such as illegal contracting against the federal acquisition regulations and other criminally and suppressed information across a qualified industrial base and academia. I want to go over this. Individuals on these UAP programs approached me in my official capacity and disclosed their concerns regarding a multitude of wrongdoings, such as illegal contracting against the federal acquisition regulations and other criminality and the suppression of information across a qualified industrial base
and
academia. Freaking hiccups. I haven't had the hiccups in so long, but this is the thing we've been waiting for. This is the point when we're hearing about the illegal things that are going on that should just take everything and just light a frickin' torch under the ass of Congress and say, yes, we need to bring back the McCarthyism hearings. I know we're supposed to have a church hearing, but yes, we're going to have to go ahead and harass and intimidate these people to bring out the truth, at least those who are in the DOD.
Thomas.
Yes, Larry.
Yes, well said, sir. And I was going to say that on this sentence here. About academia and suppression. Oh crap! What the fuck was I going to say? I forgot.
It's good stuff, I tell you. We need to get you a notepad you start writing notes on, like Tim Senor. He'll pull out the notepad and just start writing things down in the middle of stuff. We'll get you there.
I have a note. I have a bunch of notes that I wrote down for this. And
are they in a book, or are they on a legal pad, or a bunch of Post-it notes?
They're on Notepad.
We need to get you. I need to get you one of those steno books you can write in that you can't rip the pages out of, and that way you'll never lose a page.
Oh, this is really hot
I know.
stuff.
We'll get there. So let's get into this. Associates who vouched for Grusch said his information was highly sensitive. But I hear that's things like, well, never mind. There's things that can deal with those highly sensitive parts. Providing evidence that materials from objects of non-human origin are in the possession of highly secret black programs. Racists. Although locations, program names, and other specific data remain classified, the Inspector General and Intelligence Committee staff were provided with these details. Several current members of the recovery program spoke to the Inspector General's office and corroborated the information Grusch had provided for the classified complaint. Well, what was that again? Yes, several current members of the recovery programs spoke to the Inspector General's office. So there's no way these fuckers can get away from it and just say this was just Grusch talking out on his own, talking out his ass. No, this is real information, and we have more whistleblowers, not the people blowing whistles, but the people blowing, well, either way, who are coming forward to testify the absolute truth. Larry.
Real quick, I just want to jump in on the, Lou Elizondo was often talking about the unfair business practices that were going on between the DOD and the contractors, and how, like one contractor would get, privy secret material handed to them, and others wouldn't. And so that's what this is all. That's what this guy was talking about here. It just connects back to what Lou was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's not showing out there is that we're supposed to take some of these people who are going and doing these illegal programs, and then the people who are running the programs should be getting off scot-free. The whistleblowers are going to be able to come forward, but the people who are in charge of this stuff and getting there, they're the ones who should be paying the price.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't know this one. Grusch left the government on April 7th, 2023. Wow, not that many months ago. In order, he said, to advance government accountability through public awareness. Whoa! Hello, Mr. Lou Elizondo. He remains well supported within intelligence circles, and numerous sources have vouched for his credibility. Wow. His assertion concerning the existence of terrestrial arms race occurring sub rosa over the past 80 years focused on the reverse engineering technologies of unknown origin is fundamentally correct, as it is the indisputable realization that at least some of these technologies of unknown origin derive from a non-human intelligence, end quote, said Carl Nell, the retired Army colonel who worked with Grusch on the UAP task force. In a 2022 performance evaluation, Laura A. Potter, she's related to Harry, Deputy Chief of Staff for Intelligence, Headquarters, Department of the Army, described Carl Nell as, quote, an officer with the strongest possible moral compass. Phenomenal. All these people are just got the latest and greatest reviews from their people who they work for. They were loved by the people they work for. They did a great job. So why would they want to leave the government and come out and lie, Larry?
Why would they do this? Yes, they're not getting paid for this, and they're not grifting. I mean, they might be able to get a nice book deal later, but the fact that they're coming out.
Oh, you're saying getting a nice Coke deal later? What are you talking about? Book deal. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. It just struck me that right now my heart is just kind of swelling for Grusch, because he's kind of doing this, and he's doing it at his own peril. And it's kind of like Lazar for me. I'm a believer, right? And Lazar came out and really didn't get anything out of it except heartache and grief. But he did it. And for that, he's my hero. So right now, Grusch is my hero.
Yes. Grusch is represented by Charles McCulloch III. Oh, God, it reminds me of Charles Winchester III, but he's not. Shelley, senior partner of the Compass Rose Legal Group in Washington, D.C., and the original Inspector General of the intelligence community, confirmed by the U.S. Senate in 2011. At the time, McCulloch reported directly to then Director of National Intelligence James R. Clap off the clapper, and oversaw intelligence officers responsible for audits, inspections, and investigations. In May 2022, McCulloch filed a disclosure of urgent concerns, complaint of reprisal on behalf of Grusch with the ICIG about detailed information that Grusch had gathered beginning in 2019 while working for the UAP task force. An unclassified version of the complaint provided to us states that Grusch has direct knowledge that UAP-related classified information has been withheld and or concealed from Congress by elements of the intelligence community. Hello, Susan Goff. How are you going to explain your way out of this one, my dear lady? To purposely and intentionally thwart legitimate congressional oversight of the UAP program. Susan, can you please respond to this one? All testimony Grusch provided for the classified complaint was provided under oath. Now, according to the classified complaint in July of 2021, Grusch had confidentially provided classified information to the Department of Defense Inspector General concerning the withholding of UAP-related information from Congress. He believed that his identity and the fact that he provided testimony were disclosed, quote, to individuals and or entities within the Department of Defense and the intelligence community outside the Inspector General's office. In other words, the Inspector General at the DOD is dirty, and he's playing dirty pool, and he deserves to be investigated. He or she deserves to be investigated. And if they find that they did do this, criminal charges need to be brought forward and they need to be removed from the post. I think we're going to have to do a lot of house cleaning coming out of the Pentagon, starting with Sean Kirkpatrick and Susan Goff. He did not allege that this information was improperly disclosed by any member of that office, but someone got their hands on it and they used it to reprise against him. As a result, Grusch suffered months of retaliation and reprisals related to these disclosures beginning in 2021. He asked that details of these reprisals be withheld to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation. And when those reprisals and the stuff that comes forward comes out, everyone is going to be surprised and saying, why aren't these people in jail? They're violating the Constitution of the United States of America. Larry? You're muted, my friend. Unmute your speakerphone.
Thank you, Thomas. Well said again. Let's see. What were we just reading here? Back it up a little bit.
Well, let's just move on.
No.
He asked that details of these reprisals be withheld to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigation.
Oh, yes. So here's what I wanted to stress. The inspector, although we don't know the details of the reprisals, we've heard rumors that they were ugly. I mean, really ugly. And so what we hear here from the Inspector General is not only is this credible, but it's urgent. And urgent means to me that it's urgent that they act on this immediately, because these reprisals are something that are way illegal and way.
And trust me, I'm keeping my mouth shut on this one. I'm not going to talk about it. Let's move on. Eventually we can. The intelligence community inspector general found his complaint credible and urgent in July of 2022. Well, yes, it was. According to Grusch, a summary was immediately submitted to the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, and the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Apparently, if you call the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and you ask them any questions about UFOs, they hang up on you, don't they, Swan?
You can't even call them. They disconnected their line. It always comes out busy. But if you call Rubio's office and you ask them about UAPs, the staffer immediately hangs up.
Wow. Wow. Yes, just talk about it, Thomas. I can't and I won't. Not not till the right time. Trust me. Sworn oath? Yes. Kind of, but not really. A promise? Yes. Leave it at that. So, a complaint was drafted and signed by McCulloch and his managing partner. It ended with Grusch's signature attached to his statement. Quote, I do solemnly affirm, under the penalties of perjury, that the contents of my foregoing paper are true and correct to the best of my knowledge. Well, out of that, a whistleblower reprisal investigation was launched, and Grusch began his communication with the staff of the Congressional Intelligence Committees in private closed-door sessions, which is better than the lack of secure methods that anybody can report anything to RO. According to Grusch, certain information which he obtained in his investigation could not be put before congressional staffers because they did not have the necessary clearances or appropriate investigative authority. Now, a representative from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence told us in March, without hanging up, that the committee members are not able to comment on the content of a complaint or confirm the identity of a complainant. Quote, when you have multiple agencies nesting UAP activities in conventional SAP/CAP programs, SAP stands for Special Access Programs, both as recipients of exploitation, related insights, and for operational reasons, without appropriate reporting to the various oversight authorities, you have a problem. Grusch said, referencing the highly secret special access programs and controlled access programs. CAP's controlled access programs. Got to remember that one. Grusch's willingness to take risks and speak out appears to be emboldening others with similar knowledge who believe in greater transparency. Now, Jonathan Gray, the intelligence officer specializing in UAP analysis at the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, also known as NASIC, is speaking publicly for the first time, identified here.
Thomas, in the back, we can't see the paper, the article.
What do you mean?
Okay, there we go. Now we can see it.
It's been there.
No, for a second it was gone.
You just have to go ahead and click on that and pin me, and I'll be there. All right.
Okay.
Interesting thing. I need to go take a 30-second break and run to the middle of the backyard to get the cupcakes. So, Larry, do you have any poignant words to say in the meantime?
All right, let me look at my notes here. First of all, did you guys see the confidence in Grusch's eyes? Boy, I saw a strength there that I wondered, where is that coming from? It's fucking fantastic.
He was very passionate, huh, with his answers? I thought so.
Yes, very clear and simple, and the truth is simple. And what a truth it is. Coulthard, wonderful quote here. Spacecraft from another species. And yes, he confirms it. And bodies, by the way. Atomic analysis confirms these materials are not from this planet. Another point, Grusch says that RO is being kept in the dark as well. Yeah, I think to some degree that's probably true. But they're certainly happy to be kept in the dark. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Bob Lazar was telling the truth, Stanton Friedman, who I love. I love you. I love you for everything you did, but you were wrong on this thing, and you misled a great swath of people against Bob Lazar's testimony. That's my.
But that's not everybody's thoughts on it, so let's not put him on a pedestal, please.
Right.
You got me full of dog food on my hand, but as soon as I heard you going and trying to put Bob Lazar on a pedestal, I had to run back and say no.
Okay. All right, but next subject. A publicly unknown Cold War. I think that's my biggest takeaway today. I mean, we all knew about all the rest of this stuff, but I'm fucking glad it came out, because now things are going to happen, I think. I don't see how this can be ignored. I don't see how this is the biggest thing. This is bigger than the 2017 incident where with the Nimitz. This is bigger than that.
The Cold War
can
makes the
answer
most
that,
logical sense for the cover-up, don't it? I mean, it makes so much sense now.
I can answer that, Larry. Simple answer is back in 2017, the New York Times ran with that story from Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal. Today, in 2023, the Washington Post, the New York Times, they won't touch it. So far, this
They're
story
going to
has come
touch
out
it. You
with
just have to give it some time, Mike. There's some political reasons in play here that you're not up to speed on.
as far as why they won't touch it.
Yes.
Because Leslie Kean mentioned that they weren't moving fast enough, so she took it to.
But there's some reasons for beyond that you're not up to speed on.
Potentially. But right now, if they're coming out on such small news platforms, I have a feeling that the general public and the mainstream media isn't going to pick up the ball and run with it.
They will.
And maybe they're hoping that this is going to disappear.
Mike, Fox is covering it, and so is NBC tomorrow.
Well,
just give it some time. It'll get there, Mike. This is just the first day. Give it a rest. We'll get there. And now here's the thing. If Bob really has some things to say, I hope to hell he has gone and tried to reach out to RO and tried to file a whistleblower's report and everything and get beyond the books and the celebrity status that he has and try and bring forward some information on it.
Yeah, I think it's about time. And I'm wondering the same thing.
It's
Thomas.
Either he's going to get up there and he's going to call out the truth, or he'll be called out a sham for not going out and bringing out the truth for what's possibly there because it was all made up. We'll find out over time. One way or the other, we don't know. I'll stand in the middle and just leave a big question mark over it. Let's move on. So NASIC, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, is the department. Oh God, who's this? Is the Department of Defense's primary Air Force source for foreign airspace threat analysis. Its mission is to discover and characterize air, space, missile, and cyber threats. According to the agency's website, the center's team of trusted subject matter experts deliver unique collection and exploitation of analytic capabilities not found elsewhere, the website states. Gray said that such an immense capabilities are not merely regulated to the study of the prosaic. Quote, the existence of complex historical programs involving the coordinated retrieval and study of exotic materials dating back to the earliest 20th century, back to the 1930s, Lee, should no longer remain a secret. He said the majority of retrieved foreign exotic materials have a prosaic terrestrial explanation and origin, but not all. And any number higher than zero in this category represents an undeniably significant statistical percentage. There we see as a shot of the NASIC headquarters. It's unusual for the Air Force insider to come forward.
Thomas,
yes, sir.
Do you want me to send you in on your text messages that the Fox just dropped it?
The which again? Who?
Fox. I can't talk today. Sorry. The Fox.
Yeah, if you want to, we can get to that in a bit. We're still trying to get through this article first. It is unusual for Air Force insider to come forward, as the Air Force has been less forthcoming with than other agencies regarding the UAP. Quote, the vast array of most of our sophisticated sensors, including space-based platforms, have been utilized by different agencies, typically in triplicate, to observe and accurately identify the out-of-this-world nature, performance, and design of these anomalous machines, which are then determined not to be of earthly origin. This is another one that's just out there. A vast array of our sophisticated sensors, including space-based platforms, have been utilized by different agencies, typically in triplicate, to observe and accurately identify the out-of-the-world nature, performance, and design of these anomalous machines, which are then determined not to be of earthly origin. This is one hell of a quote, if I've heard one today. Holy cow.
Yes. Holy shit.
Yeah. And this is the stuff we've been waiting for forever, Larry, in chat and everybody out there. Holy cow, would you look at that? We have 372 people watching the show and only 180 likes. Do us a favor, folks. If you're having a good time, give us a thumbs up. And if you're not having a good time, give us a thumbs down. But if you're going to give us a thumbs down, at least tell us in the comments what we can do to make Karen happy. When we'll try and get there. I'm trying to control the anger and anxiety of the frickin' chat in the back, but at least at this time, I quieted them down early. I didn't have to yell either. It was wonderful. Mellon, as in Christopher Mellon, the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, has been instrumental in arranging classified briefings for members of Congress and other officials about UFOs, which include references to the exotic retrieved materials. The first briefing he facilitated on retrievals of unexplained objects was provided to staff members of the Senate Arms Services Committee on October 21st, 2019. Almost 4 years ago, folks. And they're still trying to act like, oh, we don't know what's going on. We don't know anything, Gillibrand. You are so compromised. Yeah. Holy cow.
Jesus.
And to staff members of the Senate Intelligence Committee 2 days later, as reported by the New York Times. Uh-oh. It's like the moon rising. No, it's Christopher Mellon. Here we go. Let's get into this. Mellon head says that once members of Congress gain greater awareness of the information provided to their staff and the Inspector General, they will be in a position to quickly undermine or to quickly determine the truth if they have the will to do so. Yes, undermine is more like it, but that's just
force of habit.
Force of habit. Yes. Quote, this unprecedented oversight challenge for the committees. This is an unprecedented oversight challenge to the committees. But I believe that we have leaders in Congress who are up to the task, Mellon said. Classified briefings are also presented for Jonathan Gray and his team at NASIC. Quote, high-level classified briefing materials exist in which real-world scenarios involving UAP, as evidenced by historic examples, are made available to intelligence personnel on a need-to-know basis, he told us. Quote, I have been the recipient of such briefings for almost a decade.
Oh, that's it.
And if you've been hearing about this for over a decade, oh, that's right, it's a cover-up. It's misinformation, disinformation. They don't want to give us anything. But I don't think they're going to have much of a choice soon, because if they don't bring out the truth will come to us. I've been saying for a while. If the government isn't going to give us the truth about the ETs will give us the truth. We don't want to get to that because that's just going to cause chaos. And well, not really, but we can get there. All right, the National Defense Authorization Act for FY 2023 tasked the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, in consultation with the Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, with establishing for the first time a secure mechanism for authorizing the reported of sensitive information to defense channels. But remember, that whistleblower website that was supposed to be up there was actually submitted and put it on Ron Moultrie's desk before Christmas of last year. coming into June 5th. More than 6 months later, Lloyd. Lloyd, yeah, you're in charge of Ronald Moultrie. Where the fuck is the website? Why are you sitting on this? Why are you telling and allowing Ron Moultrie to sit on this? Are you telling him this, Lloyd? Or is there someone else who's above you, maybe in a fourth branch of government, who's telling you to sit on this stuff? Potsy. Let's get real. Dr. Gary Nolan. Gotta love Dr. Gary, a professor in the Department of Pathology at Stanford University and a renowned inventor and entrepreneur with more than 300 published papers, mostly peer-reviewed, has started over a half a dozen companies based on technologies out of his laboratory. Nolan has previously applied some of those technologies to the analysis of exotic materials, publishing the first peer-reviewed paper examining such materials. Well, hello, Gary. Good to see you, my friend. Credit Timothy Archibald. Oh. Is that your significant other? Maybe. Could be. Well, thank you for Timothy for taking this wonderful picture of you, Gary. We got to say that. Quote, human civilization was utterly transformed by something as small as a grain of silicon or germanium, creating the underpinning of the integrated circuits that underlie computation and even artificial intelligence, Nolan said. Studying even small samples of purported anomalous material could lead to currently inconceivable benefits for humanity, he said. Quote, what might be represented here could be hundreds of technology revolutions ahead of us. It could be more transformative for humanity than what the microprocessor accomplished. Imagine what we could do, even with a grain of knowledge about how they operate. To encourage potential witnesses to come forward, the whistleblower legislation forbids any federal employee from retaliating against anyone providing authorized disclosure. Quote, whistleblowing is essential to the checks and balances of our government, and no federal employee should feel discouraged from stepping forward due to fear of retaliation. Coming to us from Representative Andre Carson from the great state of Indiana. In May 2022, Carson presided over the first open congressional hearing on UAP since the year I was born in 1968. Turning back the clocks to 1968. Yes, we got some great tunes. All right, the case of David Grusch marks a crucial test of these new whistleblower protections and their ability to protect future whistleblowers who decide to come forward. And they're not just going to see it on OnlyFans. Jonathan Gray says that secrets have been necessary, though, quote, though a tough nut to crack.
Yes, here's a
potentially technological advances may be gleaned from non-human intelligence and UAP retrievals by any sufficiently advanced nation, and then used to wage asymmetrical warfare. So here's the problem, Larry. We could have these things, we could bring it out, we could share it, but then it's going to be used for war. Just like I talk about in the open of the show. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Well, it's very similar to the nuclear situation. I mean, I think we can risk it.
Well, we'll see. Therefore, some secrecy must remain, he says. Quote, however, it's no longer necessary to continue to deny that these advanced technologies derived from non-human intelligence exist at all, or to deny these technologies have landed, crashed, or fallen into the hands of human beings. Gray noted that the hypothesis the United States alone has bullied the other nations into maintaining this secrecy for nearly a century continues to prevail as a primary consensus among the public at large. Quote, my hope is to dissuade the global populace from this archaic and preposterous notion, and to potentially pave the way for a much broader discussion, he said. Grusch said it was dangerous for this 80-year arms race to continue in secrecy because it, quote, further inhibits the world populace to be prepared for an unexpected non-human intelligence contact scenario. Let me read that one more time. This 80-year arms race to continue in secrecy because it further inhibits the world populace to be prepared for an unexpected non-human intelligence contact scenario. That's why I can say with complete knowledge and understanding there are other countries on the other side of the world who are working to go ahead and bring out this truth to their public, to their to the government, to the local ruling populace, to the religions, to the academia, to science in their countries. Because if this stuff comes out, like it might be coming out, and they're saying it's going to be happening soon, that this could take any advanced civilization and knock it off its feet. And that's the last thing countries around the other side of the world, acting in concert in large coordination with each other, why should they not have that ability and take care of their people when the American government has this responsibility to do it for all of us, flat out? Quote, I hope this revelation serves as an ontological shock, sociology, and provides a general uniting of issue for the nations of the world to reassess their priorities, Grusch said. And that is the end of this article. One hell of a read, but I tell you, it's one great place to get into to say, yes, intelligence official says U.S. has retrieved crash of non-human origin, and these craft are intact. Holy cow. Larry, your hands up, my friend.
Well, holy shit, yeah. I mean, I think Jesus told me that it's okay to say holy shit because it is holy. And anyway, the thing that oh gosh, I got such a scatterbrain tonight. What was the very last part of that article? He was saying it's important that this oh yeah, we're talking about the other countries and stuff. So that statement was made that, you know, the United States has to keep this, what we have, secret because we assume that everyone else is doing the same thing. And so we can't be caught with our pants down and let some other country, you know, develop this technology. But that's kind of like saying that we need to have the nuclear powers more than any other country because they are the madmen and, you know, they can't be, we need that control over them. But we're the ones who used the fucking bomb.
But Larry, the real bombshell was what Grusch said.
We are the madman. We all the walrus. Woo-coo, ka-choo.
The real bombshell is Grusch saying that we don't want our pants down with the unexpected surprise by the non-human intelligences.
Yeah.
That was freaking a bombshell. That means he knows something about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility there. I see that. Yeah.
Could be, possibly it is. Holy cow.
I guess these gatekeepers weren't going to tell us until they're right at our doorsteps.
Right. Exactly.
Actually, Costa Rica does have a military. I hate to say it, Mammy.
If the government is our dads, we got crummy dads.
Yeah. Exactly. Great conversation here. Holy cow. What a great place. The audience, not the audience, the people in the back, quiet. Quiet. What do you think? What do you think is the reason, Gary? Is it too shocking of a story?
This is a touchy subject, right? I mean, the two questions people want answers to is what happens when we die and if we're alone. And this is like really big news. So I think everyone's just very passionate and fired up right now.
Yeah.
And
possibly it could be. You never know. West, what do you think? You've been quiet today.
I don't really have anything to contribute tonight, but I appreciate it.
Wow. Interesting.
I think the event earlier must have had an effect on some people.
Peter Panda, your hand is up, my friend.
Yes, I just want to mention that as far as this being in a kind of an off the way media company bringing this out, if enough people are talking about this, then the story becomes the story. So the mainstream media will have to cover it. Just like the train derailment that you covered a lot of other independent journalists covered a lot. The mainstream media was not wanting to cover that very much until everyone started talking about it constantly, and then it percolated up and through. But we already saw the Pentagon making a statement about this.
True.
And they must have had a meeting, because Susan Goff is not allowed to go out and say things on her own. So
But you got to remember, it was about 2 weekends ago that Gary Nolan had said there was someone who came forward and it caused a big hell of a baloo of what was going on in D.C. when people found out about this. And I would almost have to say this is probably what they gleaned about.
I think it could have been, and they must have had a meeting deciding who was going to address this, though. And they decided it wasn't going to be Admiral Kirby, but they decided to have Susan Goff address this.
But Susan Goff addresses most. Kirby is only talking about incursions, military operations. You got to remember, Goff is the public affairs officer for everything UFO, UAP in the federal government. That includes the DOD, classified, non-classified, any part of our government. She is the person who has been charged with the ability, and the only person with the ability to respond to it.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing I'm thinking about, though, is that this whistleblower made some comments about retaliation that were involved with the office that Susan Goff is representing. So it would be a conflict of interest. Normally, you would want a third party to address that instead of addressing someone who he's saying he's having an issue with Arrow. And normally you would want a third party moving in and not being directly coming from that involved party, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. It does, absolutely. Thanks for that insight, Peter Panda. SOG Pilot, your hands up, my friend. Maybe not. Going to 00, not 00.
That's me, muted Mike. Sorry about that. Anyway, and someone might know the answer to this, but I always thought that whistleblower protection extended to someone who's making a disclosure about illegal activity as opposed to simply a policy disagreement or a disagreement.
No,
that
it extends it extends anybody who has been forced to sign a non-disclosure agreement with regards to the UAP UFO topic, and that the Congress considers these non-disclosure agreements illegal and non-valid, and giving the people the ability to come forward and speak about what's going on.
Okay, so yeah, because when I left the military, I had a TSSCI, and I had to go through a debriefing, and they said that you couldn't disclose anything that you were exposed to during your tenure in the military, or during the time that I had the SCI clearance. And so I'm surprised that this protection would extend to him.
It does, because here's the thing: they're saying that any of those non-disclosure agreements, Bill, are illegal.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see how it plays out. You know,
all those NDAs, all those non-disclosure agreements that people had signed to go ahead and were not able to go ahead and say anything with regards to the UAP or things that they involved with regards to it. They're saying all of those documents are illegal, and notwithstanding, Congress is overriding the validity of those documents, and they're extending protections for anyone like David Grusch who wants to come forward and bring out the truth.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Thanks.
Absolutely. Not, Are you there?
No, I'm 00.
00:00?
Yeah, I'm 00.
Oh, that's Gary.
It is. I was spying on these monsters backstage, and I just wanted to say hello. I was able to put my hand up. I haven't been able to put my hand up, so that was really exciting. And now I've forgotten totally what I was going to say.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you, Gary. You finally followed my suggestion. Join in the back. Come on in and raise your hand
up, sir.
There you do. It worked. It worked perfectly. And
I
everyone
forgot what I was
to
going to say. So anyway, as you were.
Crypto Mike. Mike, how you doing? How'd you like the story today?
Oh, it was completely fascinating. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. The one who did the actual interview was Ross Coulthard. And he went in to reveal a lot more information than Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal did in this article. So that's just the beginning. But what Gary forgot that he wanted to tell you is that what was going on in the back got to the point where Wes Decker said he no longer wants to stay in the back chat and he's planning on leaving. And he also doesn't plan on returning to the show ever again because of everyone attacking each other and all the stuff that's been going on so far.
So I need to go to the back chat and I need to go to it and I need to say disable chat for the people in the back, in other words.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was something else. I can't remember.
What a lot of people in the back are concerned about is nobody wants Wes to leave the show permanently. So they were trying to convince him not to do that. If you read the back chat.
This off air, guys. Just deal with it after.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been a good day with your news.
The name calling is getting a bit old, even for me. And that's why today when it started going up, I immediately took it and I just shut it down. The audience wasn't hearing any of that shit as soon as it started. And it's unprofessional and it's unbecoming of this show and any of the people in the back. So people who are going down that route, if someone throws shit in your face, wipe it off and flip them off, but don't escalate it. Please. It's not worth it. If someone wants to flip out, let them flip out and let them come out like a freak. And if that's okay, that's who they are. But if you escalate it, then you become part of that shit problem too. Right, Larry?
Well said. Well said, sir.
Yeah.
And I'll just speak up from what I was saying. My point was that I respect everybody in the show, and I'm just getting tired of the toxic and the attacks that happen. I think we all have stuff to contribute. Everybody's got different opinions. I think everybody on the show has a lot to offer. And, you know, I liked the attitude that we used to take where we were like family, where we could have disagreements, but they were respectful and always ended in a way where we all came together. And recently it's just becoming more and more toxic. And
Yeah.
I just don't feel like I want to participate in that if that's going to continue. So that's what I said. I didn't say I'm definitely leaving. And I told the people in the back that I would stick around to talk with them afterwards to discuss it. So just so everybody knows that that's where I'm coming from.
Right.
I love the show and I love all of you guys. And I especially love everybody in the audience in the chat and respect all of you. But I don't want to contribute if it's going to be something where I feel like we're tearing each other down.
Yeah.
So that's just what I'm talking about.
And with that, the chat in the back is now gone. Permanently.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I hope we talk about this after the show's
Oh,
over.
we will. We
All
will.
right,
We
good.
will. We will. It's wonderful that we can air
That
all
looked quite
these.
threatening the way you did that, Thomas. Oh, we will. We will.
We
I'm gonna get spanked.
I will
I'm gonna get in
the
trouble
whip.
now.
Yeah.
You're a nice one.
Yeah. Larry, last comment for the night. Holy cow.
And we did, Patrick, I hope you don't mind me calling you out. I wasn't the only one. Patrick actually left for the same reason tonight. He was back here with us and decided it was more pleasant to be up front with the rest of the folks. And
Let me guess, the chat in the
I
back
can't
was
disagree with him.
toxic again, wasn't it?
It was, let's just say, like, you have Hitler vicious and you have Lamb vicious. It was just past Hitler and going a bit further up.
I could tell you that's why Lee left it back as well.
We've got a lot of great things that we could be focusing on the show, and I think it would be best if we could all focus on the positive and try to stay positive. I think there's so much. I mean, today was such an exciting day. I was really excited to come on and share it with you. And Larry and I had chatted about it earlier, and we were excited. You know, I think that this group and what we have to offer, we can make a difference. I really do believe that. I think we can actually help bring along the people in our lives who are going to need help understanding this issue. I think we can influence this in a positive direction, but it needs to be positive. It can't be by tearing people down. If we tear each other down, if we keep secrets, then we're just falling into the trap of all the things that we are sitting here telling the world that we don't like. And I think we need to stand up and make an example of what can be done by being supportive and being honest and pushing for the biggest revelation that this world has ever seen. We are not alone. I think that's amazing. And I think this is an amazing group to explore that with, but I just want to make sure that we're doing it in a way where
Can I say it, West? That's amazing.
So, West, what you're trying
supposed
to
to
say
be a
is
laugh.
when it de-escalates down to a schoolyard fight, it's completely unprofessional.
Yeah.
And it takes away from the message that
It
the show
does.
is trying to bring out
And
to
if
the
it's
public.
if it's driving people off the panel, out of the show and everything, that's the last thing I would ever stand for. You know how I am, West. And if I saw the shit was going on, if I knew it was going on, if someone would raise their hand and say, "Hey, Thomas, we've got some people being," oh God, it's probably in the
Thomas,
we kind of did.
Yeah,
Thomas,
you have
we kinda
about
did.
10 pages of it.
Kind of did, Thomas. Kind of did.
When?
Kind of did.
Anyway.
Oh,
it's not important.
And the
We
disclosure
can-
say, "Hey, Thomas, look at the chat," and I will.
But
Well-
you were busy, you know, you got your things to do.
I was reading, you know, how much.
It wasn't ever meant to go to air. This whole bit should be removed.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
this was
okay,
gonna
but
happen
either
offline.
way, it's been a great day, a great thing. We have so many great things ahead of us. I'm going to keep on saying great because this is about let's make aliens great again. MAGA, right?
Make aliens great again.
Yeah. We're finally there.
Jesus.
How
Do we
about
have
make
great
humans
hats?
Oh,
great
did someone
again?
else use that already? Shit.
Well, and let's make humanity great again. I think this is part of what's going on in society these days is we're just all eager to get angry and tear each other down. I've been prone to do it myself. So let's all just make an effort if we can to try to do the better thing, walk the better path. I mean, that's the way we're going to get to, you know, disclosure in a way that's meaningful. If we give in to the suspicion and the hate and the anger and the calling each other names, then we're just playing into what people on the other side want.
Hey, let's get out for MAGA or MAHAGA, whatever we want to call it. Holy cow.
Mahaga doesn't work, West. You're going to have to come up with a better one, I'm afraid. And Mahaga just doesn't have the same ring to it. However, as it's Pride Month, we can make anal groovy again.
On that note, I want to thank all the people for the wonderful super chats tonight. Ant-Man, Swan P, Speed of Life, Royal Morning Blue, UFO Majestic Hugh Clearance. Thank you very much for the support. Intergalactic Angler, David Dominic, Daryl Zernick, David Bogusowski, Daniel Bogusowski, Ozark Craft, Daryl Zernick. Holy cow. Want to thank Stoned Ape, Fry My Nipples. Gave us a great super chat as well. Lord William, Daryl Zernick again, Charles Kerr, Rachel Smith, and Paul Murphy. I want to thank everybody for the wonderful support tonight. Holy cow. I want to thank everybody for the people who are still in the chat and hung out with us even through all this. Sometimes you have to go through the Robert's Rules of Orders and read the minutes of what happened in the meeting before. But you know what? Let's see
I'm banning all their keyboards next time.
Let's see who we have out there in the audience still right now. If you're in the chat, say hi really quick.
Hi, really
3,
quick.
2, 1. All right, let's see who we still have out there right now. It's Alex Fraga, Amiga Rules, Anti-Large, Bill H., Blake McCreary, Brian Beck, Daryl Zernick, DC, Digger Dog, Electra RC, also known as Zach, Eli McGinnis, Elad Kali, Arkahi, Firefly, Gene Splice. Let's go ahead and change that around. Oh, God. A little bit quieter. Holy cow. Let's get into there. Let's see. Feigenshow 87. I had Kali, Firefly, Gene Splice, George Sanqui, Gene Splice, Glenn McEnroe. JD, thank you for being here tonight. James Friday the 13th. Jan, thank you for being out. You're in the middle again for once. Jose Sands, Kelly Broad, Kevin Clark, Kim Inari, Lex Diaz, Lizzie Akayo, Ayako. Mammy is here, Marcus Mandel. Where's Brock? You got a whole audience in Seattle to represent here, my friend. Where are you, Brock? Mick isn't around. Mr. Catfish 2100. Muth is here. Neon Pop 80. Owen from Ohio. Paul Francis. PC Pete Liebel. Rachel Smith. Raven Creek Charms. Renee Cruz. Robert Anthony. Royal Morning Blue. Short Change. Long Range. Also known as Patrick. Come on in, Patrick. I've turned off the chat in the back. We need to catch up. Sockets is around. Speed of Life, Studio One Live, Sully's been here, Syrup, myself, Thomas Fessler, of course, Thor Panku, Tin Man 105, W. Decker, Wildcat Mahone, Tin Man 105, Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy and Pico Diaz.
Picnic.
Yes, Gary, you're here too.
Yay. Carry on.
Well, that's also Ack, also known as our producer in the back. Let's take that down and see who else we have in the back. Let's see. And also want to thank the people who are in the back right now, including Gary. Thanks for coming out today, Gary.
Yeah, I'm currently, I've been in the back for a while, and I'm sort of barricading myself behind a tree and hoping that no one sees me.
Crypto Mike, thanks for coming here today, buddy. Crypto.
I'm going to miss this for the world, especially.
Absolutely. Larry Gurn, thank you for being here, my friend. Larry?
Thomas, we are not alone.
Oh, we're not alone. We've got a non-human intelligence. Maybe that's what's upstairs. We never know.
Larry, I suffer anxiety, and that scares the shit out of me. Please tell me I'm alone.
Michael Sokoloff, thank you for being here today, Michael. Good to see you, Michael.
You're welcome. The truth is here.
Absolutely. Paul Murphy, thank you for being here. Peter Panda, thank you for being here, Peter.
Oh, thanks. Great show.
Swan Patel, thank you for being here, Swan.
Oh, yeah, thank you for going over there to brief, and yeah, it was a great show.
Absolutely. Shelly Montgomery, say hi, Shelly. Good night, Shelly.
Hey, Thomas, I want to give a shout out to everyone that joins your show every night.
Yes.
I
Especially
mean,
to our
awesome.
friends at Absolute.
You're
Good to see you,
awesome.
my friends. You're absolutely the thing I'm going to need after the show tonight, I tell you. SOG Pilot. Bill, thanks for coming out tonight.
Thanks for having me on. A lot of material to go through. Great job doing it.
Thank you very much, sir. Syrup, thank you for being here along with Talking Surface Monkey.
Oh, great show as always, Thomas. Great show.
Yeah, same here.
And finally, we'll leave Wes, but not least. Wes, thank you for coming out today. Sorry for the drama.
No, I just want to say thank you to everybody. My sincere respect to each and every one of you in the audience and here in the back, and to Thomas and to Gary. So,
and as we
thank you
usually
all.
say, from Thomas Fessler and Cupcake the Wonder Dog.
I can send things up the screen.
Eyes open.
Have one of everything.
Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone. But
Go back to Party City where you belong.
absolutely remember to go outside and look up. And when you come in, lock your doors because the cow is officially out of the barn. Good night, everybody. Love you. Talk to you soon. Chat.
Burgers.
Back. You stay. You have a talk coming from Thomas right now. Take care, everybody.
He's
Love
not
you.
angry. He's just disappointed.